summer day in the Galician forests. The Wildfire Coordination Centre receives an alarm and a firefighting team is mobilised. Entrapment is the most extreme situation a wildland firefighter can face. And although there is no single formula nor a perfect manoeuvre to deal with such situations, in this video we'll explore actions that can save lives. Self-protection manoeuvres are the last resort when the OACEL safety protocols have failed. Some of the dangers we may face during entrapment situations include vehicle accidents caused by attempting to drive through smoke columns, or flames, burns or damage to the respiratory system from inhaling extremely hot toxic gases. The time available to prepare the manoeuvre and the amount of water we have will be decisive. When getting close to the fire and before stopping the vehicles, we should look for an area as open as possible with low fuel load, positioning ourselves on the opposite side of the fire, behind a protective barrier and avoiding gullies or depressions. The largest vehicle, acting as a shield, should be placed in the area most likely to take the initial impact. The fuel tank must be protected. Upon reaching the chosen spot, the firefighting team members will exit the vehicles to prepare the self-protection manoeuvres. Drivers must follow this protocol. Announce radio silence and report the entrapment, including location, units involved, and number of people trapped. Press the emergency button, close the air vents, and switch on all lights and the audible warning signal. Now is the time to prepare for the anti-entrapment manoeuvres. Engage the pump and leave the system pressurized. We will prepare two 25mm hoses set to their maximum flow with a fan-shaped spray pattern and closed after checking they're working properly. The curtain nozzle should be positioned on the fire-facing side at a distance of between 1.5 and 4 meters from the vehicle. If possible, another pressurized hose will be left in the safety zone to deal with unforeseen circumstances or in case the fire crosses the track. We must reduce the flow of hot air and smoke passing underneath the fire engine by placing barriers on the fire-facing side. We can even make use of any spare hoses by stacking them. Now that everything is ready, if the time allows it, we will focus on reducing the surrounding vegetation fuel load by clearing it or flattening it with the vehicles. If we have enough water, we will dampen the area. In any case, we will remove all flammable materials. If foam additive is available, we will create a foam strip around the vehicle with a wider band facing the advancing fire. Additionally, if we have enough time, a perimeter burning can be carried out. As the fire approaches, it is just before impact that we must activate the vehicle's self-protection systems. The firefighting team members will take positions on the available nozzles while the rest will proceed to the designated safety zone, grouped closely together and crouching down. The rear nozzle firefighter will protect the fire truck driver, while the front one will shield the cab area and the air intake of the vehicle to prevent engine failure. If fire intensity is low and we have sufficient water, an offensive maneuver may be initiated. However, we must always retain enough water to carry out a defensive maneuver. For this, we get on one knee. The water jet should be dispersed in a 60-degree spray pattern with the arm bent at a 45-degree angle. Fire extinguishers and self-rescue devices must be kept within easy reach at all times. If the fire is advancing rapidly, there isn't enough time to carry out the previous maneuvers and fire intensity is high, as a last resort, we may take shelter inside the vehicle. Close all windows and air intake vents. Switch off the air conditioning. Keep the handbrake engaged and the engine running. Cover the windows with non-flammable materials to reduce radiant heat exposure. A thermal blanket with the gold side facing inwards, a firefighter's protective jacket, or the vehicle's floor mats can be very useful. Position yourself as close to the floor of the vehicle as possible to avoid radiation passing through the windows. Keep the self-rescuer and fire extinguisher close at hand at all times. If the cab fills with smoke and the interior plastics begin to melt or deform, or if the vehicle catches fire, you must evacuate immediately. Always exit on the side opposite the approaching fire and as close to the ground as possible. If no water is available, there are 2 emergency maneuvers that may allow us to survive an entrapment situation. Create a perimeter burning around us that is as wide as possible. Once completed, move to the center of the cleared area, adopting a defensive position and wait for the fire front to pass. We can also create an escape burning. To do so, we must start a burning in the path of the advancing flames and lie face down near the area with the lowest intensity. Wait for the burning you started to open a gap in the oncoming front through which you can escape. Remember, entrapment is the most extreme situation a wildland firefighter can face. The maneuvers described here are always a last resort, but they can save your life. Prevention is protection. Action saves lives.